This is all fair for me too.
Yep, there we
Okay.
go.
Alright, this is Team Sunshine here with Zeke, Corum,
Yo.
Nick, and Alex.
Hey.
You're the only one who's excited.
I know, right?
Why can't I be?
Let's start with some minor spoilers. We get the first few cards from GBT07 out now, and it's all gold paladin trash.
Some of it's actually good trash.
Because
Yeah,
why
well,
not?
everything is trash in this game. It's just a matter of how good of trash it is.
True.
Well,
Um,
hopefully we'll get more gold paladins. I want them to expand the meta like Dongle.
Yes, please.
Expand
Yes.
dongle. Expand dongle.
So we have Scarface Line, which is their put into soul plus 5k draw a card.
For Gurgly.
Yeah, for Gurgwit only. Then they have their Dongle card. It's a grade 3. It's an interesting grade 3 because it works as a 10k booster and a 5k interceptor, which is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It works for any situation. You
That
got.
card might as well say, I only work with Gurgoot, thank you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's also Holy Mage Connor, which is a Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on your guard or guard circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets power plus 5k, shield plus 5k until end of turn. It's not a bad card.
It just eats up the soul, it seems like.
You don't use Soul in Gurgly though, really.
For GB2,
That-
Yeah, for
that's about
GB2,
it.
you're soul blasting 1. For this card, you're soul blasting 1. You're not gonna have enough soul.
You have the crit triggers.
yeah, but
whoopee.
they have the crit trigger to balance it.
Not to
Well, I feel like
mention.
Gurgoot just goes in so deep, so hard that it doesn't really mind because your Gurgoot makes ridiculous numbers and attacks a whole bunch of times in one turn.
Yeah,
It
true.
also,
So-
we have Flame of Victory, which goes to Soul 2.
Not to
Yeah.
mention this next card that we're gonna spoil, or it's already been spoiled, and then stuff from the start deck, which we'll be talking about later, also has stuff that's like CB1 push the soul, do something. You have plenty of soul, trust me.
Yeah.
I'd like that
Like-
that's their new focus, honestly.
And like I said, it's just Gurgoot just goes in so fast that anything past second stride really is just not that necessary.
Nick, why don't we have a Sunshine Knight player? We're Team Sunshine, damn it.
Zeke
I
is-
play it. Did you
Woo,
say I
one
do?
Player.
Yeah, because I played the Lotto.
Yeah, he has Lotto.deck now. Anyway, last spoiler is so we can move on to stuff.
Is Knight of Thin Sun Marcia. It's a Unite card, put it into your soul. At the end of each turn, you may pay the cost if you do countercharge 1, and it has resist on every circle.
That's
So-
fine.
So even though it's an 8K, the cool thing about most of these rear guards now are like CB1 push the soul, so you open up a rear guard slot so you can call something new there during your turns.
Yeah.
Where it's not like the old Gurgly build where you would use Quill to call a brand new line or another attacker and you're retiring your rear guards constantly.
I'm not a big fan of it really. It's a grade 2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it.
but it's Unite. You just need to have call 2 or more units that turn to get it. It's not GB restricted, I think.
It could possibly be squeezing over the Amber clone, but it's not better than Lopier and it's not better than the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, deck
I'm
space
sur-
is just too tight.
Yeah. And Lapier's gone up in price too, which
Yeah.
just is kind of like, here's kind of your replacement if you want it for resource management, but it's not recommended.
Isn't Lopier like 5 or something?
It's 9 as of right now.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because mainly you use it in Ezel and Gurgwit.
Use it in every deck build except Blue
We
Flame.
Bluish Flame because we have Swaglavale.
Yeah. So I guess we're ready to move on to news now, honestly.
Let's go on the news.
Do you guys want to talk about Team League first? The
I-
Greece Team League?
So much jank. So
Oh my
much I can't
God.
handle it.
I honestly don't even know what to say about this.
Oh, it hurts.
So,
It hurts so
Congrats
good.
to the winners. Congrats to the
congrats to
winners.
the
They
winners.
did great.
To-
I love their
save
names.
To save time, I think we're just going to list what clans got first and what seat they are, I think. I think that would be the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So,
We'll start with champions.
Yeah.
We have Gold Paladin, Ezel Gurgwit build, really standard, uses Lopier, Pal, all the normal stuff you would see. That was their A player. Their B player is Tachikaze, using
And Gorge. new stuff from
G-Tachis.
the-
Yeah, just new stuff. Then the last player is Diablo Shadows.
Yeah.
Kind of expected. Kind of expected to see
Just-
one of them top.
Yeah, just straight up Diablo Shadows.
Yeah, I didn't expect Diablo Shadows. Yeah, I like Diablo Shadows aren't bad, but I'm very, very, very shocked to see someone playing that over Revengers.
It's not as expensive as Revengers when your Legion pairs are more than 100 a pop.
Yeah, well, I also feel like if a majority of the teams, or at least a quarter of the teams that go to Team League or travel to these competitions normally don't compare, really are super concerned about the price of their deck. Like normally your tournament player is going to be playing the deck that they think will win, and normally they've already dropped the money into it regardless of what the deck is.
Yeah. Well, Team 2 leading off strong. Seed A, Diablo Shadows again.
I can't wait to play the deck.
There seems to be a pattern here.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Diablo
have this build.
Shadows.
I'm gonna have this build and Revengers build, so I'm gonna have choices.
Yeah,
Actually, no, I'm gonna be playing Revengers probably.
yeah. The next one is Thingsaver Majesty Lord Blaster deck and their CB. Pretty standard.
Taking advantage of that blaster engine, I could see Forlu and
Yeah.
everything in there.
The Seat C player was a Machinings
Nick?
player.
Machinings with one dark face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh, that one
that's
tech.
Search.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. They're running all these decks are just looking very standard. Nothing like really shaking yet.
I feel like there's nothing super standard about machining stopping. Like this hardly ever happens.
But here's the thing. I'm just looking up the grade 1s for the machining deck. It runs 3 of the G Perfect cards and then 1 Quintet Wall.
It has a quintet wall. And
Yeah, that's really weird.
Why?
I missed that.
Don't know.
Why do they have? I don't know why.
Don't question it. It's Greece.
Not to mention, a lot of these decks have a one-of tech of like the G Stride Break or whatever they're called. The
Yeah.
grade 3s. Like a lot of decks are adding them now. Like some Royals decks are running one Alt Mile. Other people are running like one Dark Face, one of this. It's really interesting how people are like, oh, I'm gonna fetch this just in case.
I also like the Air Elemental in the Shadows deck. That one of.
Well, Diablo is the only deck that can officially run Twitter Run right now because you have Vortimer who's like, oh, I see you're trying to stick me a grade 2. I'm going to make sure that I can use all my GB1 abilities.
Does it have a way of getting it out before your GB1?
Yeah, Vortimer's on-ride skill is you ride it, CB1, Soul Blast 1, search your deck for any grade 1, call it to rear guard.
Okay, that makes
Grade
sense.
1 or less. I
That makes
prefer
sense.
using David, and I'm going to use Seabreeze when it comes out, but you can still use Twitter Run right now to counter grade 2 rush decks.
Hey, it's that tech.
It's a one-of, and it should remain that way until Seabreeze comes out.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the second runner-up team.
Dark Irregulars, the Amon reverse build.
So happy! I
It
love
makes
this.
you very happy.
Because this is the deck I actually have right now. Like everything here, pretty much 12 crit, 4 heal. I'm running Psycho Graves, Ronjilin. Everything here works.
Yeah.
Besides her Grave, like I normally don't see Grave in Amon builds, or at least the ones that I'm used to seeing here in between Pensacola and Panama City. And I read this card for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, why does everyone not run this?
I switched to that because I'm like, I don't use Hell's Nail a lot for the, like, she's kind of like a vanilla. It's like, oh, I don't have an Amon counterblast because I'm already using Grace. I need an attacker or something that can push, so that's why I take him in.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so player B played Tachi's G build,
Tachi's again, yep.
and there seems to be a pattern again. And then player 3 played Great Nature,
Yep.
which looks like the Break Ride build, Chat Noir Tester Fox.
That 2 of Compass Lion, that's pretty great.
It actually works because you use Mikasaburo targeting one of your rear guards, and then Compass Lion says at the end of your turn you retire a unit, so gets it off.
And of course, 12 crit, 4 heal, which
We're
not gonna say anything more. But besides that,
Yeah, like I said, there seems to be a pattern.
I was going to say, seeing that deck list gets more than just Mike Sabero off.
Yeah.
I feel like Bren's going to be pretty happy to see this.
Yeah. Well, I was happy with Dark Irregulars. So.
I was even happy with Mega Colony. You know.
Honestly,
So, yeah.
the variance we've seen in clans is pretty good. It's just kind of disappointing that a lot of the deck builds aren't like. There's one or two like strange things in the deck builds, but there's nothing like really meta breaking or like necessarily like strange about them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wasn't it? We did this, or I did the spread chart from last year. Wasn't it 25% of the decks from last year were Shadow Paladin?
And like,
Yeah.
how many percentage of them were untouched legend decks?
There were 2 untouched legend decks at topped at Bushiroad events last year.
Which was disgusting, just to see that.
Yeah, but we're seeing a lot more variance this year, which is pretty solid, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised we didn't see a single Link Joker deck this time.
I think once the next deck comes up, I'm going to start doing spreadsheets again and seeing clan spreads. Because the clan spreads actually helped me build my deck slightly last year. Because last year when I was deck building, I ran G Perfect Guards when the regular Perfect Guards were the norm because everyone was afraid of D Police.
Mm-hmm.
But when I spreadsheeted it out, D Police was only 3% of the meta, and I felt like giving up advantage against 97% of the meta for a matchup that's only 3% wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
If you would like to see the spreadsheet, please subscribe. No, Nick makes really good spreadsheets. It really helped us before we went to Atlanta. So,
We had-
anyway.
Yeah, if you go to business school, spreadsheets is all you make.
We had one for the Japanese meta and one for the American meta, which was really cool to look at.
So let's move on to the next topic of news. The Gold Paladin Start decks, I believe they came out today. Am I correct? They came out today or this
They
week?
came out today or yesterday.
Yeah.
It came out today.
Okay.
They're only $10.
They're cheap.
Please
So
buy
the real-
2.
Yo,
Yeah,
that Gargoyle art,
For $20.
that Gargoyle art, so good.
Yeah, is this worth a 2 of?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
buy 2
definitely-
of.
To get into the game, it's either this or the Saint Guard deck if we get it over here. And considering
we're
the
more than
next
likely
booster
gonna get it.
coming out.
The Gold Paladin start deck is really good to get into the game right now, just because next set you're getting support, so you can like enjoy the feeling of like getting booster packs and stuff.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's a good intro.
Don't get the Gear Chronicle one. The Gear Chronicle start deck's bad. Don't
Yeah,
do
don't
Oh
do that.
god, that terrible strike got errata.
it.
Yeah.
They released 2 erratas, either I think it was today or yesterday. And the erratas were for a token Rambu card, and the other one was for that terrible Grade 4 Fortress.
And also too, there was the crit trigger for Victor.
That
That
was
also got eroded too.
Oh wow.
that was a while back, wasn't it?
No, it was just posted.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was the Victor errata?
It said it said at end of turn.
Yeah.
Oh, at
it's
end of
until
turn,
end of
okay.
that battle, like they
Okay.
always do.
Okay.
The Bushiroad quality control second to none. None actually means everyone.
The
Okay.
seal of approval.
Let's
Yeah.
get through this news. The last thing I thought was worth mentioning is that, guess what, guys? How many of you really loved your Bermuda Triangle waifus? I know you do, Harry. Too bad you're not in this chat right now. But Olivia is apparently getting reprinted as a single rare, so all those people who've been searching for SPs, I think
They're
you're
gonna tank.
You're either
Wasn't-
very disappointed
They're not gonna
or
tank.
very happy.
So
Wasn't
the thing,
SP? Well, here's the thing. Okay, so Bermuda, it's not going to tank. The saying that it's going to tank is not going to happen for 2 reasons. One is, didn't the SP come in an alternate art?
Yes, that's
Yes.
why I feel like it's going to be still expensive to get that artwork. Not as much it's from an older set.
The 2 things is that one is that people are going to want that creepy waifu art, and then the other thing is that have you ever met a budget Bermuda player?
no.
No.
Like they probably exist. They're real, but they're like unicorns.
This is more for your people who are like, oh, I want to try out this clan, and my finisher stride is now super cheap. I can just get the single rare version and be fine.
Well,
Whereas your diehard fans, they're going to put down the $3,000 if they really want to SP it out.
the other thing to remember that's worth mentioning here is that it's a rare, but it's being scaled as if it was a double rare.
Mhm.
So it's short printed, basically.
Yeah, like it's gonna be in there, but it's gonna be infrequently. In there, I guess. What?
Do we already know that?
Yeah, there was confirmation.
Yeah, like Butcher made an official post that you're gonna see it in the booster.
Oh, great! We're already getting admittance to short printing.
Yeah,
That's great.
I think they did it because they didn't want to cause the prices to drop or make people feel gypped out of it, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
still better than Konami.
Yeah. The other thing to mention is we also have a official reprint of the technical booster, the first technical booster coming out soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad.
So
That's pretty much it for news, I think.
My heart wasn't craving a reprint of that, so
let's move into the big part of this video, which our discussion for today is going to be, as you can tell with what we saw with Greece, it brought up the idea of we have all these new clans that at least I feel like are joining the meta, and we're begging the question, is the meta expanding? Because we're seeing Pale Moon topping, we're seeing Grand Blue, Seven Seas, and Night Rose, a bunch of people playing Night Rose right now, which
right.
play Seven Seas, please. Angel Feather, Nova Grappler, and so guys, what do you think? Is this good for the game? Seeing all these new clans in the meta instead of it being limited between 25% Shadows, and then you have Royals, and then
And Aquaforce.
and Aquaforce.
This is a wonderful thing. Also, oh my God, no Aquas have topped, have they?
We've had like one or two. I think.
Infrequently. About as frequently as Chaos has topped, because Chaos hasn't topped but
Yeah.
3 times, I think, and Aqua's topped about 3 times as well.
Yeah, this is gonna make me start spreadsheeting because I could have swore that but all up until now every other deck was Chaos.
Not to mention there was no Link Joker that topped at Greece too.
Yeah, I
which
know,
was
that was
very.
I mentioned that earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very surprising. Very
The
surprising.
it's good in a lot of ways. So having the power spread among the clans is in everyone's benefit. So if a player's favorite clan, because everyone has their clan that is like their bay. My favorite clan is Grand Blue. When I first started playing the game, I built Double Legion, and then I expanded it into Limit Break Double Legion, and built some really janky shenanigans decks, which is like one of the very first videos that we ever posted.
Yeah, on Sunshine Arena. It's actually a very good deck.
We'll link it in the description below.
Yeah, I tried to beat it and I couldn't at all.
The video or when more clans do better, it does two things. One is that it makes Bushiroad money because people are now willing to, or people can play their favorite clan. They're going to play their favorite clan. They're going to buy the cards for it. So it makes Bushiroad more money when there's a spread of the power, or at least the power is in someone's favorite clan, because there's always going to be Tachi fans and Grand Blue fans and Murikuma fans. I'm sorry, forever. And, but two is that it keeps the metagame healthy, because one of the things that will cause a metagame to stagnate and die is when you see the same thing top over and over and over and over.
For example, Ripples, when that was a thing.
That was addressed very quickly.
Yeah. It's more like Yu-Gi-Oh! I would feel like if you look at I remember when I was watching, it's the one where they had the voice actor of Pegasus fight Merrick, and all you could see at the bottom was Burning Abyss, Burning Abyss, Burning Abyss, Burning Abyss, Cliff Forts, Burning Abyss, Burning Abyss. You were just kind of like, why go to this event? It kind of was, it was very stale. It didn't make me want to join that game any more than what happened earlier in last Team Leagues, where we had 25% Shadows. We have a bit of Aquaforce here. We have a bit of Royals. So
it makes a healthy metagame. It makes people want to play the game. It makes Bushiroad money. It's a win-win. So as long as the power stays spread and nothing super stupid goes to one clan that just causes a dramatic shift like Diablo, which actually Revengers are arguably one of the best decks before Diablo anyway.
It is. If you can afford to build it, you build it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there's
It's
no
just
reason
weird
not
we
to.
haven't seen it yet, though, in top decks.
We have
Oh yeah, we saw 2 decks of it.
Yeah.
which there are only like there are 4 events each with 3 teams. So and one of those events the deck wasn't Yeah, the deck wasn't even out yet, so
Mhm.
it's too early to start crunching numbers. But I plan on doing it as soon as we get some more results.
Yeah, as soon as you get like a bigger sample size, you can.
Yeah, sample size is too small right now.
And also, when you finally get to go to California, right? Maybe it'll change.
Oh yeah, I'll have a big sample size by then.
Yeah.
It'll help me determine the sample size, and yeah, with the bigger sample size and predict and seeing what's prevalent, that'll help me out a ton in choosing what I'm going to play because I'm on the fence between a lot of decks.
Yeah, because by then we would have Fighters Collection GBT07, I believe.
No, that won't be out.
Oh, that
Yes,
won't
we
be
will.
out.
Yeah, we'll have GBT07
Oh,
and we'll
yeah.
have Technical Booster 2, I believe. So,
Okay, so we'll have all that out before the California thing.
well, the main thing about the California Continental is the 16 slot G zone, which is going to affect a lot of decks, especially Gear Chronicle and Chaos.
That's a-
Kind of, I feel like
That's
Chaos
a discussion for another time.
I will
We already
definitely
discussed
say, yeah, we already discussed that in the last video, but I definitely feel like the meta is expanding, and we're definitely going to see Pale Moon up there. I feel like we're going to see more Angel Feather up there, especially
Oh,
when set
definitely.
7. And I feel like,
G Guardians makes Chaos so good.
not
Oh
to
my god.
mention, we have, like, I think we might see Gold Paladins trying to creep up there too. I
Yeah,
want to see with Gergowit. Depending on
there
the
are a lot
support.
of shifts because in the last video, one of us mentioned that Messiah just gets noticeably better than Chaos, and I feel like that's completely not true. Chaos is going to get significantly stronger because if they go first, then you go into Bringer, which you lock something, then you play your photons and your irons, and and then you just be a jerk to your opponent. And then when they stride first, you G Guardian, and then your Chaos gets a hand lock, or then your Universe gets a hand lock and a field spot lock on your first stride.
Mhm.
So Chaos will get noticeably better.
Yeah, the G Guardians have really improved the game, I feel.
The Bluish Flame will be improved by G Guardians. There are a lot of clans that'll be improved by it.
I'm just hoping that, like, the one thing they need for golds is a finishing strike. We don't have it besides Ezel, really, and Scourge Point only works with Gergowit to do the big pushes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I feel like the Glory with a crit and I can activate my effect multiple times if I got the cards in hand is a pretty good finisher.
again, that's if you get the cards in hand. And in this meta where aggro is king right now between Sankguard, Seven Seas, it's really hard for Bluish Flame to counteract it because, again, you're still playing lotto-based stuff. Your Aglovale, you call it, yes, it's a Swordme clone, but am I going to get out of the top 3 the card I want? I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, Go Paladins is more lottery based than the others.
Well, if you're playing Gold Paladin, then the way that you build any Gold Paladin deck is that even though there's the lottery factor, it's how badly can I cheat at the lottery.
Well,
in
it's
order.
you're thinning. You're trying to get the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
So that's why Bluish Flame has some of the best, not milling, but recycling in a way, because it's I call this, return to the bottom, look at top 4, call this.
Yeah,
And
like if I'm playing lottery and I have if I have 40 cards remaining in my deck and I want to see any of up to and I just don't want to see one of the 16 triggers, then chances are lottery is in my favor.
Exactly. If you go down to 20 and you still have about, I don't know, 10 to 12 triggers, you have a high chance of seeing it, which makes late game great for them. But,
Yeah, catch call, be good forever.
yeah, catch call is king. Other than that, so we have more clans joining the meta. We definitely have some clans that still need a lot of work. What do you think needs a lot more work? Like which clans especially? I think
Token Rambu.
Token Rambu. If we ever get support for Token Rambu. Murakumo, I think, needs to step up their game. Hopefully they'll get new things in the technical booster. OTT, I think, still needs work. Silent Tom is still one of their best plays.
As much as I don't want to make people angry, I've made the argument over and over again that Murakumo, besides for Token Rambu, is the worst clan in the game.
Yeah.
They just don't have that finishing power. I mean, Homura Raider was a step in the right direction, but we need more.
Yeah.
Well, cloning as a whole is a very weak mechanic in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting on a weaker mechanic that just it's the best way I can say is cloning's not good in this game. So if you're going to have a weak mechanic, then you need to have strong rewards for those mechanic or for having that weak mechanic. Neo Nectar, which also has a cloning mechanic. Cloning is bad, but they also make 100k columns, so that semi makes up for it. Murakumo has I can attack for 12 from the back row.
Yeah, Alex, you played the deck when Set 3 originally came out. You built it quickly.
Yeah.
What was your take on it?
Like I liked Kagamijishi once Yasui came out because the thing is, if they get a trigger, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad for you. But I've checked in now with the Magatsu Legion, and it seems to be a little more consistent. Also, too, for lake divers.
Yeah.
Better.
The thing is that I feel like Murakumo, compared to some of the clans who have access to Ice Wing from the back row, like Commander Thavas and Blue Wave, that works great. Spike Brothers, they hit for a big number when they go into Dudley Geronimo, even though don't play Dudley.
Yeah.
Apparently it doesn't hit as big. But still, like, they swing bigger numbers than Kagamijishi will. It's one of those things where they're trying to give I feel like they don't know where to take Murakumo yet. I feel like they don't, and they're just trying to give it things, say, will this make it better? Will this make it better?
I feel like there are two ways that Murakumo can get a lot better. The first way is that they can give you some reward, some additional reward for cloning instead of, like I said, attacking for 12 from the front row or making a semi-big number, which the numbers that it makes isn't even that big anymore. So they need to give you some form of reward for the mass cloning, like a bonus effect if you have 4 copies of a card. Like if you clone a whole bunch of times and you draw a card. If you clone a whole bunch of times, you countercharge. Like some reward for the mass cloning.
Well, there is Fujino for Murakumo, which is whenever another of your Fujinos is called, that Fujino gets +2, and whenever it hits a Vanguard, you unflip.
But you have to hit the plus. That's the main thing about it.
Yeah.
It's you want. I'm gonna definitely say you want something like a Sword Breaker, where it's like, oh, when it's called, I Soul Blast immediately and draw. That's definitely good.
They need something.
Yeah, until you clone it 4 times, until you clone it 3 times and draw 3 cards, and then put them back in your deck.
Yeah, like
and then do it again.
That would make them really good because it's like, oh, if I need a plus this turn, I clone this unit 3 times. I have 4 of them on the field. Okay, I just draw cards. They return to the deck afterwards.
Maybe that's their new mechanic. At the end of the turn, whenever it gets placed at the bottom of the deck, you draw a card or something like that.
That would be
that would be too stupid.
Yeah.
Let's not go overboard here.
Okay, enough about Murakumo. What about OTT? I feel like they need something more. I don't know what exactly, but they need something.
Do you think they need a finisher?
They need G Guardians to not exist.
Because Silent Tom is so sad.
They need something that's not based around Silent Tom as your ending play.
Yeah, they need rear guards that can actually do stuff besides Silent Tom.
It's really great because Maguses are actually really good in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's something that's a fun little fact is that when we got to top 8, we went against a team. Their CB player was a Beast Edie player who went the entire tournament with nothing but losses. I was his only win, and I had a G assist 4 times in that game. It was awful. But so that means that the Blue Wave player and the Magus player won 100% of their games until finals. That means that at Team League Atlanta, there was a Magus player who went undefeated until finals. Then about a couple weeks later, I don't know her name, but she posted a really, really cool-looking Magus deck on the Facebook saying, "Hey, I got top 8 with this." And the teams 4 through 8 don't get recognized, besides for the fact that they get this awesome 25-cent pen. But so back-to-back, Magus decks got top 8, and I feel like the Magus deck has a lot of potential. It's just that they need some form of they do need a better finisher. But I feel like Maguses are really powerful. It's just that they're underappreciated.
Yeah, Globe Magus helped them out big time.
And it's also the fact that Magus actually has other rear guards besides Silent Tom to use and abuse.
Yeah.
Like, you can hit some pretty big columns with some of those rear guards for calling cards right. And the stride just makes it so you can do it, so it's like, why not?
Yeah, you can see the future all the time.
Yeah, and the best part is when you see the future and your opponent's not there, you feel pretty good.
Feel great.
Okay, what's another clan that...
does Mega Command really mean anything?
Mega Colony kind of proved itself with Greece in a way, so I don't feel like we
And
really need
Atlanta.
to talk about
It has
in
two
Atlanta.
tops now.
God,
so-
that Mega Colony player was so cool in Atlanta.
So I think Mega Colony's in the right direction. I'm definitely curious what they're going to get next technical booster, but let's talk about Nubatama because we thought the support they were going to get was going to be game breaking or almost, especially with the Stride, the Generation Rare. That's like, oh, I bind your whole hand. I can make you
Yesterday's
2 cards in
again.
hand.
And then what has it done?
It's slow. It's not
It's
fast
gotten
enough.
so much hype, and it's honestly, it just requires better management. I feel like a lot of the players that are playing it aren't playing the deck correctly.
Zeke,
Something to keep. Oh,
just real quick, Zeke, we were filling out our deck sheets at Atlanta. How many people came up to you asking for new Batama stuff from the recent booster?
I had the entire deck completed in Atlanta, and I traded away it all. I think the final amount of people that came up to me were like 7 or 8 people.
Yeah, we had, like, right before people were trying to finish new Batama decks, and I don't think any of them got to top 8 at all.
No.
So it's kind of like we were expecting it to be broken, which they got a lot of good stuff, I'm not going to lie, but it was...
I was legitimately worried about it when I was testing because when I was going to Atlanta, I was on the fence. I was like, should I play Sandguard or should I play Chaos? And then I play tested the deck when I took the deck to the Pensacola tournament and play tested it for the first time in the box tournament. That was my play testing round. And it felt so good that I ran Chaos. And then when I was going to Atlanta, I was like, I'm worried about new Batama. I'm worried about that stupid Stride. And then
I built the deck, and we played a lot.
Yeah, like Zeke and I play tested it, and like it was really hard for me to pull off a win with the deck. It just took too long. You could have asked Zeke and I, and we would have been like, you'd be fine if you played Saint Guard or Chaos.
Yeah, but with G Guardians, it might have an impact because you can go into that if you go first and your opponent strides first, then you can go into that really, 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 really good stride on your first stride.
The only problem is with that is
It still requires a perfect hand to pull off.
you need something to bind an extra card between your on stride ability and the stride ability of and the actual stride's ability.
Yeah.
I still feel like it has potential.
Mhm.
Simply because one of the players who had a very interesting deck had the on hit get rid of a bound card.
Mhm.
And normally, if that's your stride and your opponent has 4 cards in hand and they're ditching a perfect guard to stop the Vanguard attack, and you just assign triggers to him, then he could probably break through and start whittling cards out of your opponent.
Yeah.
I
The
feel
rule
like
of thumb in that deck is if that they're 4 or 5 damage and you check a trigger, they auto lose.
Yeah. Also, I think another clan that needs to be mentioned is Neo Nectar. Even though they got really good support, I don't think we've necessarily seen them topping a lot.
Well, the huge problem, the main way to run Neo Nectar is Asha, and the deck just fizzles really hard against decks that have decent control. So it's going to auto lose to Chaos. It's going to auto lose to Kagero. It's going to auto lose to what's that one clan that starts with an N? That's not
Narukami.
Yeah, Narukami.
Yeah, Narukami for field wipes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to lose to Narukami because Narukami can just snipe the stuff that it needs to clone before it clones it.
And you've already said Kagero, right?
Yeah, it loses really hard to Kagero.
Oh yeah, but burn it with fire.
Watch the force burn.
I think that's it really for Neo Nectar. It's just control hurts it. It's an aggro deck that requires you to have multiple copies, and if it goes against control deck, there's no chance.
The G Guardian is all right for them.
The G Guardian's good. I like that G Guardian.
Yeah. I think that's all the time we have for today.
Oh, okay. Let's close in. I definitely want to give a shout out to Maxime Solemn for definitely commenting, being our first comment. Thank you. We definitely needed some ideas for today, so we hope this is a bit shorter. And basically, let's see. I had it written down over here, didn't I?
I don't know.
So, one last thing before we go. I wanted to ask, on Google Hangouts, they have a way so you can ask us questions and you can actually view the broadcast before we put it up on YouTube. if you guys are interested in doing this, you want to watch us discuss things, you want to throw in your commentary, and if you would like to do that, let us know in the comments below. It would be great if we could do that and host it for you guys once a week, and you could join in and talk with us. I think you guys would be okay with that, right?
Yeah.
I'd be fine.
Yeah. Other than that, great discussion, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Peace.
See you next week.
Yeah.